Hi guys, Lindsay here with Storybrooke Family Farm. Today I thought I would give you guys an update on the garden progress. So I've been working on putting in all of the T-posts that are surrounding our garden. We weren't sure if we would have enough, but we actually had one more than we needed to, so we didn't have to buy any more, so that was nice. T-posts are kind of expensive. I think it's like close to like $2 a T-post here. And they used to be something just a couple years ago where it was like 75 cents or $1 a T-post. So that's definitely something that inflation has got a hold of, is the T-posts and other farm equipment and stuff, just like everything else. But so I just got done digging a hole for the garden gate. I intend on using I did this at our old house when we lived in town, and it turned out really cute. So I figured I would do it again because I also really liked the aesthetic of it. So how I made a garden gate at the old house when we lived in town was I'd actually taken a pallet and cut it apart and cut it up. I'll just walk over to some pallets that way I can just show you guys what I had done. But I essentially made a white picket fence out of the pallet. So then I painted it white so that way it looked really cute, so that way the neighbors wouldn't have a complaint or anything. None of them ever did. We were very respectable neighbors. But so what you do is you just take the pallet and you basically you cut a diamond shape in each of the boards, and then you take the boards off of the backhand side of the pallet. So like this top board here you would take off, and then you would cut the boards here off just down to here, and that's all you need to do. Like, it is super simple. You leave the other 2x4 supports that go across the lower sections of it, so that way you have a place to attach a hinge to. So it's super simple, virtually free. All you gotta do is buy paint if you don't have any already. I don't know if I'm going to make it white or not, so for the first little while of the garden I'm probably not going to have it painted at all, just till I decide if I want to do some sort of fun color, which I probably will. When we remodeled our old house, we did a lot of stuff of, when we were doing it, we didn't actually have in mind of, oh, we're going to sell this. We'd always hoped that we would be able to find a place in the country and all that stuff, but when we remodeled it, it was like, okay, well, if we're meant to stay here, we might as well make it look nice. But we always in the back of our mind was like, oh, well, resale value. We should do something that everybody would like, just in case if we were able to sell it. Well, then last year came and we're like, nope, we're selling. We're not doing this anymore. So it worked out nice that we designed everything with resale market and resale value in mind, of doing everything with more neutral colors and, that sort of thing. So we didn't have to change anything when we listed it. But so anyways, so as I was digging the hole for the garden gate, which I'll show you guys. So right behind me is the rabbits, and then right over there is the driveway. So where I'm standing at now, right where I'm at, is the garden gate. So back in there is the garden area. So when I was digging the hole with the fence post hole digger thingy majiggy, I don't know what it's called. I'll just show you guys so that way somebody can tell me in the comments what it's called. Anyways, so that's what I was using to dig the hole. I had noticed that it is incredibly wet here, just like at our old house, even though it's, like over 20 miles away from where we used to live in town. But so it was incredibly wet, and I want this garden gate to be something that lasts for a while, that I'm not going to have to replace it anytime soon, just because I got a whole bunch of other stuff I got to do. So what I did was a Japanese technique called shushugi ban, which basically just means wood burning. Fancy term. So what you do, typically this is done with cedar, but I don't have cedar, so I just used a regular 4x4 that I had. I don't know if I'm hitting this with the camera or not. The sun is in my eyes. So the bottom part that is going to go in the hole, I did a dark shushugi ban burn on it, and then higher up in the post over in here, I did just a really light colored burn just for aesthetics. It makes it look like it's been weathered and really nice and fancy. So I'm going to put that in, and then I'm going to end up mowing the area where the garden is going to go. So then, yeah, like right now, like I just stuck the post in, and there's like 3 inches of water in the hole already. Granted, it was like a rain snow mix yesterday, and today it's like 50 degrees, so it's kind of nice to be working outside. But yeah, I dug this hole probably 5 minutes before I started filming, and it already has a few inches of water in it. So like, if we ever want to dig a pond, it'd probably be very easy to do here. The land here, it's not super wet, but there is some springs, which is nice. So we don't have to worry a whole bunch about drought and stuff where the garden is at, since it obviously is a more damper area. So I gotta put the dirt around the hole, down in the hole. I could have dug it deeper. I only went about 2.5 feet down. I think the frost line in Ohio is like 36 inches that you're supposed to do, but I was hitting where the soil turns to a different color, and that is always an indicator that you are very close to water. If you're digging down and you have the dark colored topsoil, and then it turns to clay, and then after the orangish brownish clay, you'll get, I think it's called silt. I'm not sure if that's what it's called or not. I'm thinking that's what it's called. But it's almost like a silvery gray dirt, and it has a very different texture than clay. If you go much further than that, you always end up hitting water. So that's how you know if you're, for some reason, if you have to dig a well by hand or something. I don't know. Maybe you want to dig a pond. I don't know. But that's how you know if you're getting close to water, is if you see the soil change to a different color and different texture. That lets you know that you're almost there. So there's food for thought. So that means for here, if I ever wanted to dig any sort of like small pond or well or something for like the ducks, I would probably only have to dig like 3 feet down to have something that'll just keep, percolating water back up through it and that sort of a thing. So that's always nice to know. But beyond the garden, what's been going on is not a whole lot of anything. We've just been really super tired. Yesterday, it was really terrible weather out. I went and hung out with a friend for about an hour because I already had to go to that town to go to the feed mill. So I figured, might as well stop by and see my friend since I'm already out. So that was nice, getting to see her and hang out for a little while. Got some feed, did the animals like always, just the same old routine as it always is. Going to pick up the kid, bring him home, get dinner going, and go to bed. So if you've seen my homestead update video of a month here, you will know that I foraged for dandelions. Part of good foraging, as you can see, there are still a gazillion dandelions everywhere. That's how you know you're foraging right. You don't want to steal everything. You don't want it, basically, you want it so that way when you're done foraging for something, it looks like you never picked anything. Even though I got over an entire colander, I got like 3 sandwich bags full of washed dandelion blossoms and stuff, which I'm going to pick some more probably tomorrow. But that's how you forage properly, is you want to just take just a small amount, so then that way all of the wildlife still has their full take, the plant is not disturbed of their natural life cycle, and nothing gets harmed in the making of your products, whether it be jelly, jam, or for our case, dandelion wine. I know a lot of people like to make jelly with it. I've not made jelly with it yet. I've just made wine in the past. I really like the little violet flowers. Those are edible too. They come up around this time of year every year. I was kind of disappointed because the only place that we really have many of them is right underneath them pines, and there's really not that many. So I'm probably going to just avoid mowing that area so they can fulfill their life cycle and go to seed, so that way they can spread some for next year. If you've not eaten the flowers of them before, they actually taste really good. They taste kind of like a mulberry. If you've not eaten that, think of like a blackberry mixed with, or a black raspberry mixed with a red raspberry minus the seeds. That's kind of how a mulberry tastes, and the violet flowers have a very similar taste to that. But their leaves are heart-shaped leaves, and they actually taste a lot like lettuce. So they're very good green to forage for, to make a nice little salad. So for the garden, what we're going to do is, initially we had thought about seeing if somebody could come and just till the whole entire thing. It is kind of a large space. We do have 2 small front tine tillers that we could use to do the garden, but breaking fresh sod, especially with a front tine tiller, it is extremely labor intensive. And you basically feel like you're dying the whole time. Like you're like holding on. It's like holding onto a bull or something as it's trying to buck you away. It's very intense physical work. So we were initially thinking about just having somebody come and till it for us, and then I had the genius idea of, oh, we don't need the whole thing tilled. We just need where we're going to put beds at. So our eventual plan is to work towards making raised beds throughout the garden. So I kept thinking about like, how are we going to lay out this garden this year so that way we can work on easily, smoothly transitioning it to more of like a raised bed garden. So I came up with this idea of making a shape, and you guys will end up seeing that in the future. I can't show it now because this is all just really tall grass, and it's kind of hard to see inside of my noggin. But so we're going to make an interesting shape, and it's going to be like a geometric shape basically, that around the exterior walls or whatever of the garden will essentially be different beds, and then they'll sort of like cascade inward. It's really hard to explain it. I thought I could, but you know, everything in my mind seems less complicated than when I try to say it out loud. Then I'm like, oh wait, that doesn't make any sense. So sorry for mumbling and jumbling and making no sense to you if it didn't make sense. But so it'll eventually end up being a space that this entire garden area, and I know that on camera you can't really tell how big something is. It's roughly like 40-ish by 50-ish feet. So it's like 40 feet wide and then about 50 feet long. So it's probably going to give us about like 1,900 square feet. And then eventually this area here where there's a bunch of trash and junk and overgrown stuff and where the rabbits are at, we're probably in the future going to build some raised beds and also put our greenhouse somewhere around in this vicinity. There is an abundance of sunshine in this area of the yard. So it makes the most logical sense to have it be in this area. Plus it's just nice to, because we have to walk past this area every day to take care of the animals, to check on them. So you always want your garden in a spot that you're just going to be by it, be around it, walk past it, look at it every day. And then that window right there is the dining room window. So where I sit at, I end up sitting facing this way. So every day while I'm eating, I can look out at the garden and, you know, see what's going on in there. So just, it's always good to put your garden somewhere close. If you have it clear out in the middle of nowhere, you're never going to think about going and checking on it, and not going to have motivation when it's really hot out to go do anything in it. But so I'm going to get back to work. So I hope you guys enjoy this content. If you do, give this video a thumbs up. Share it with your friends on social media. And if you have not already subscribed, please subscribe to our channel to help us grow. It would mean a lot to us and to our farm and to our small business to feel the support of viewers and those that are watching and enjoying us. All right. Thanks for watching. Have a good one, guys.